Hi, welcome to another episode of Gearhead, man. I'm Mark, your host, and this episode is on the legendary engineer, car builder, designer, race car driver, team owner, the legendary Pete Brock. Yes. Um, Best known for two things. Top one is he's the brains behind the Shelby Daytona Coupe, taking that to beat Ferrari back in the early 60s. And what a legendary guy! Not just a engineer and a designer. Worked for some of the big companies, Ford, General Motors, Shelby American. He helped build the Daytona Coupe with them, and with the help of Ken Miles, who could get in any car and tell you what, take a few laps around the track and tell you what the hell was wrong with it. What do you need to do to fix it? And they can explain it in the terms that an engineer needed it to hear to fix the design. And so there was a team of three. Another great designer. He was from out of Australia. Great guy, great designer. And with him and Pete and Ken, they were a solid team and built a hell of a car for Shelby and Shelby American. And since they got that win against Ferrari, Ford came knocking on their door again to build a car which would become the GT40. And but by then, Pete had left Shelby American due to a falling out, some bad blood between Pete and Carol. But that's history now. And that Daytona Coupe is legendary. I happen to have a 1/24 scale version of the car. Pretty cool deal. Pretty cool car. But enough of that. Well, so we know this episode's on Pete Brock. So why don't we get started?
In motorsport, performance, and automotive innovation, Pete Brock is recognized as one of motorsport's most influential figures with distinguished accomplishments both as a racing driver and an automotive designer. His career exemplifies the intersection of competitive driving expertise and groundbreaking vehicle design, establishing his lasting legacy within the automotive and racing industries. Brock's early dedication to automobiles directed him toward the field of automotive design. He began his professional journey at General Motors, where remarkably at age 19, he developed the initial concept for the Corvette Stingray. This seminal design contributed significantly to the evolution of American sports cars, reflecting Brock's notable aptitude for integrating visual appeal with performance. In addition to his success as a designer, Brock demonstrated considerable talent as a racing driver, participating in multiple competitive events throughout his career. He further distinguished himself as a member of Carroll Shelby's team, playing a key role in the development of the Shelby Daytona Coupe. This innovative vehicle did not just win races, it scared the hell out of the competition and achieved considerable success on the track and reinforced Brock's reputation for seamlessly merging functionality with aesthetics. Throughout the 1960s and 1970s, Brock remained a pivotal influence in motorsport by founding Brock Racing Enterprises, BRE. Under his stewardship, BRE produced championship winning Datsun race cars, reinforcing his dual legacy as an accomplished designer, team owner, and driver. The enduring impact of Pete Brock on motorsports and automotive design continues to be acknowledged today. His visionary leadership and commitment to excellence have inspired numerous professionals in both disciplines, ensuring that his contributions remain integral to the industry. Pete Brock's tenures with Shelby and Datsun were especially significant in shaping his career and the broader motorsport landscape. As a vital member of Carroll Shelby's team during the 1960s, he was instrumental in designing the Shelby Daytona Coupe, renowned for its aerodynamic innovation and competitive achievements. Subsequently, through Brock Racing Enterprises, he guided the organization to multiple championships with Datsun entries, particularly in SCCA and Trans Am series. These milestones underscored Brock's abilities as both a designer and strategist, solidifying his reputation across various facets of motorsport. Among his notable achievements, Brock played a critical role in advancing the popularity of the Datsun 240Z in American motorsport. Through BRE, he transformed the 240Z into a formidable contender, leading to numerous victories and enhancing the model's standing for reliability and performance. The accomplishments of the BRE Datsun 240Z not only elevated Brock's stature as a visionary leader, but also contributed substantially to the introduction and acceptance of Japanese sports cars in the mainstream US market. Pete was a hell of a guy, designer, driver, and legend.
Two of them, all great.
I just
There aren't too many
divulged
roadster guys here. I'm glad to
myself.
see
No,
you.
I know. You know, I was here. I'm from Kansas City, and I came
Are
out
you?
about 10 years ago, and there was a lot more roadster guys. There's a lot less.
They're hard to find.
Yeah.
Basically, Ken Miles, John, and myself were the three of us that worked on this car to begin with. The prototype of this automobile was built in 90 days from the first sketch to the time we raced it. So it was really, really a pretty crude piece of equipment. But again, having the best fabricating guys in the company, and they all sort of began to come in and help out and work on it. And we took it out to Riverside the first time. It was February 1st, 1964. I remember the date. And went out there. Not everybody went out there because a lot of people didn't care about it. They thought, well, a car's going to be heavier than the Roadster. It's not going to be any faster, and anything that ugly isn't going to be that quick anyway. So we had the believers and the non-believers. And we went out to Riverside Raceway, and Ken Miles really didn't run very many laps in the car. He was so impressed with the car. He went out first, came back in, and he said, you know, what gear we got in this thing? And of course, we'd had the same gear we ran in the Roadster, and because we wanted to make a direct comparison on it. And the car was so much faster out of the corners because the chassis was stiffer, and it was so much faster down the back straight that we went from top speed of about 165 mile an hour with the Roadsters up to about 185. So that right then we knew that we would be comparatively in speed with the Ferraris of that date. And we hadn't touched the car. I mean, this was right out of the box. And there were all kinds of compromises that we'd had to make on the car. I had been very concerned that we were going to have some lift at the back end at that speed. And I had tried to convince Phil Remington, our chief engineer, that I designed a movable wing on the back end of the car. And this was before the era of movable aerodynamics had been banned on race cars. And he said, I looked at it, he said, God, that'll take us 3 or 4 days to build. And we just haven't got time to do that. So let's run the car without it and see how it runs. And you know, he was saying, well, you guys go out there and fall on your face, and then we don't have to put any extra work in on it. So anyway, the car was really, really fast. And So I got back to the shop, and then everybody's cheering about it, and it became the focus of our attention. Carol got the group of guys together and said, okay, we're going to go to Daytona with this car.
Wow, wow, wow. What do you think about that episode? About what you learned about Pete Brock? Man, what a guy. What a hell of a guy. Hell of a guy sums it up. I'm looking forward. He's still in the living. He's on the right side of the grass, living in Henderson, California, or excuse me, Henderson, California, Henderson, Nevada. I've almost forgot where I'm living. And just down the street, just down the road a bit, and his shop, BRE, still exists, and it's still there. It has a heritage museum. He gives tours now and then, so I'm going to try here in a week or two, try to contact them and see if I can get in and we can meet Pete and talk to him in person and take a walk around his shop and heritage museum. I can't wait for that. So that's going to be here maybe in a week or two. So keep an eye out for that. But Pete, man, what a guy, what a designer, what an engineer. He was there at Shelby for the big stuff. Talked Carol into building the car that's known as the Shelby Daytona Coupe. And that showed you the car I had. Again, it's still on my desk. Still, here's the car. Everybody hears that term, Daytona Coupe. They know this is this car. Put that back down before I break it. Don't want to do that. So, yeah, and we heard a little bit how things came together at Shelby American to build that car, the Daytona Coupe. There's more to that video, and I'm going to put the link to that in the description. So look for that. But yeah, so I can't wait to have it. Hopefully I can get in and I can meet Pete while he's still on the right side of the grass. Yeah, he's a legendary person. I never got to meet Carol Shelby, but I was actually in his old shop back on by the racetrack here in Las Vegas, about by Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And he was always in the building, and I found out one day I was in there getting photos of some of the cars in his museum, and I asked the lady behind the counter. She said, "Yeah, he's in his office, but he doesn't normally come out and meet anyone." So she said, "Sorry." I said, "No, it's all good." So I have been breathing air, the same air that Carol Shelby was breathing. And I was in the same building at the same time as Carol Shelby. So that's the closest I got to Carol. Hopefully I can meet and shake hands with Pete Brock. So keep an eye out for that. That should hopefully be here in a week or two. Hopefully, definitely before February. But tell me what you think about this episode. Tell me what you think about Pete Brock. Leave a comment, And I'll always love the comments. I read them all. And so let's go ahead and do that. And give us a like. Give us a share. If you're not a subscriber, why the hell not? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the bell icon. That way you won't miss any episodes as they post. You'll get a notification. And yeah, all right. Glad we got to get this episode. We're glad we were able to talk about Pete. And everyone have a great week. See you next episode. And be safe out there, everyone.